So we have to exclude those guys.
Ugh. Yeah.
Thank you. That was extremely eye-opening.
Okay, what was the main issue as we went through this? What caused the problem?
So I knew that we needed to create a common denominator at the start here, with the x multiplying by x plus 1, but I was just really confused on whether to just do that with that denominator or up above on the 1 over x plus 1 as well. So I was just really lost on that step. So
Okay, yeah, so we're only going to combine what's in this lower denominator here. So we wanted to make these common. And then we can combine this. And then once we've combined it, then we can invert.
It next to the numerator. That's what I'm seeing over on the left-hand side.
That's correct. Now we're getting back to if we have A over B divided by X over Y, we invert and multiply, and what do we get?
AB times
A over B.
A over B times Y over X.
Yes.
It seems like it's basic foundational
Yes, it
algebra
is.
that
Yes,
I'm
it is.
like, this is what's making my problem so much harder.
Yes, it is. This is what was covered in 97, 98, and 99.
Yeah.
So the idea is you'd have a good base in those classes before coming into this class. If you don't, then you struggle a little bit.
Yeah, so if we're struggling like this right now through this first 2 weeks, and we're really applying ourselves and exhausting all resources, what would be your suggestion? Would you suggest, hey, you might want to see if you can transfer back down to level 99 to brush up before you advance in pre-calculus? Or would you say, if you're doing somewhat well, you can continue on and not worry so much?
I would go with the latter.
Continue on and not worry so much?
That would be my thought, because my experience with students is as they work through the various sections for each of these chapters, I think you'll get what's going on. I mean, I don't think this material is to the point where, hey, this is really a hard stuff. I don't think that's true. This isn't differential equations or something that really is very difficult. However, having said that, if you're having trouble with previous material, then it can be difficult. For instance, if I say A over B divided by X over Y, and that's causing you issues, and if you have a problem, taking this kind of a problem and going through it, and you think, gee, I'm never going to get this, then I guess you probably should step back and take a look. But in general, I have found that students can move on through everything. Now, I suppose it may depend on what grade you're looking for. Maybe you don't know this material well enough to get an A, but maybe you know it well enough to get a B. Well, if B is good enough for you, then you should be fine.
I think the biggest thing, honestly, is just having the time to process the homework. I just feel like I'm just rushing through it to get it done, because I want to make good grades on the homework to save my ass if I don't do well on the tests. Excuse my French.
Well, I don't grade the homework. I just check to see that you've done it.
I know, but that's the thing. I want to do it right. And I don't feel like I have enough time to really go through it.
I'm with you. The full understanding of it is difficult for me as well right now.
I mean, I could throw a bunch of stuff on a piece of paper right now and turn it in, but I'm not that kind of student. But I also don't think it's fair to take a 0 when I've been working on this for the last 3 days.
Well, just be sure you turn it in. The only way you're going to get a 0 on anything is if you don't turn it in.
Okay.
Even on a test, you don't get a 0 unless you just leave the question blank and don't put anything down.
Right. Well, but if I don't know how to do the question and I'm not just going to scribble stuff down to make it look like I did work.
Well, I understand that, but the tests should be very similar to the homework. So that
Okay.
if you can do the homework, you should be able to do the tests, is what I've found.
Right. And I understand. Could we go through number 73? I really, from the first one, I just kind of lost myself. So going through these would be great.
Is it 73 on P6?
Yes, sorry about that. P6, number 73.
P6, 73. Let's see if I've got something on that here. What does that look like? Get a piece
I
of paper
have
right
square
here.
root x minus 1 over 3 square root x over square root x.
Hey, after this, can I have permission to record? Because one of
Yeah.
my friends,
Yeah. Name?
Bogdan.
Bogdan. Let me see. Let's see here. Allow to record. Anybody else need to record?
Thank you.
I'm sorry. So for
Recording in progress.
you're not recording, the students are? Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes. Now I have recorded files out there already in Canvas under files, under videos. I have videos out there. If you might want to take a look out there and see if the problems that you're looking for are out there.
And that is from the prior classes. Is that correct?
Yes, it's prior work that I've done, but it should be the same problems.
We can request to record.
Yes, you may.
Okay, I'm gonna do it too then.
Okay, and the name?
Beson, Besson.
Let's see,
Desiree.
here. Where are you? Here. Okay. All right, so we were P6, what was it, 73?
P6, number 73. Correct.
P6, 73, that looks like this.
Correct.
So what do we want to do in this numerator?
Simplify, take out a common something. I have no clue.
Oh, okay. Well, we want a common denominator, don't we? I mean, we can't combine this value and this value unless they have a common denominator. Am I right?
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to take this value and multiply it by this denominator. So 3 root x over 3 root x times the root x that's there, minus 1 over 3 root x. So that's my new denominator over root x. So all I did is take that initial term and multiply to get a common denominator. Now I can combine the values in the numerator, right? Is that right?
Okay.
So
You tell me. I don't know.
Well,
Yeah. Yes. To get a common denominator, you multiply by 3 root x.
okay, very good.
Both the denominator and the numerator.
Okay, so now I have a 3 root x times root x. What does that give me?
Times root x.
3x.
Is that a question or a statement?
It would be 3x squared, which is 3x, if
3x.
that's correct.
Okay, 3x over the same 3 root x minus 1 here, huh? So the numerator becomes 3x minus 1 over 3 root x. Agreed?
Yes.
And that's all over what?
Square root x.
Root x, okay. Now, this square root x in this denominator here is over 1. So I want to invert and multiply. Why do I want to do that?
You want to invert and multiply to get the radical out of the denominator, is that right?
Okay, so 3x minus 1 over 3 root x times this thing inverted, 1 over root x. So now the problem becomes this. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. So let's continue. So in the numerator, I have 3x minus 1. And what do I have in the denominator?
3x.
3x. Very good. Now, this is correct. The book, I think, may show that it separated these in the numerator, and it'll say 3x over 3x, this over this, minus 1 over 3x. Okay, everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, could you say that again?
We change this to this form here, 3x over 3x minus 1 over 3x.
And
And why did we do that, you're saying? And the book says, well, it's a little simpler if I do this because now 3x over 3x is 1. And then we have minus 1 over 3x. So the book author thinks this is a simpler answer than this. Okay, makes sense?
makes sense.
Okay, and then are there any exclusions?
Zero? Anything greater than? I have no clue.
Well, we want what we're talking about. Are there any exclusions for the variable x? So is there anything x can't equal? Can x equal 0, for
0.
instance?
I don't believe so. Can it?
Well, if it were a 0 here, then this denominator would be 0, and we can't have a 0 in the denominator. So x cannot be 0, can it? Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
We'll leave that up to. Oh, sorry. I thought.
yeah, no, go right ahead.
Mm.
Now, can x be less than 0? And similarly, can x be greater than 0?
Yes.
So it can be greater than 0, but can it be less than 0?
I don't believe so.
Why not? Why can't it be less than 0?
Because that'd be a negative, and you can't have a negative in the denominator. Is that correct?
No, that's not correct. You can have a negative in the denominator. You can have 1 over -2. That's correct.
Oh, okay. Then I have no clue.
Well, yes, you do, because you look at what this denominator is here, and this denominator is a root x. So if x were a negative value, you'd have a root of negative some value. Is that a real number?
No.
That is not a real number, is it? So x has to be greater than 0. So not only can it not equal to, it has to be greater than 0. So our answer is 1 over 1 minus 3x, 1 minus 1 over 3x, and with the stipulation that x has to be greater than 0. If it's 0, that denominator goes to 0. If it's negative, then we're taking the root of a negative number. We can't do that. That's not a real number. So x has to be greater than 0 for that answer. Okay. Questions?
Ah,
Can we do a different problem if we're finished with this one?
Sure.
Yeah.
I've been stuck on 89 for P.6. Could you go over that?
P.689.
Yeah.
P.689. Did we just check my notes here? I'm wondering if we already, some of these we've done before. So let me, no, I don't see it in my notes. Okay, P.689. Let me find out what that says here. 89. And let me check over here. Now that looks like it's pretty long. Was that an assigned problem?
Yeah,
yep.
you assigned from 69 to 105, and you noted it in your homework as well. So I just assume you wanted to do it. So
Yeah, that doesn't look fun. Does that start out 1 over a cubed minus b cubed?
Correct.
I don't even know if you even taught us that section yet
Yeah,
or
yeah,
reviewed it yet. So like I've been
yeah,
just
yeah.
baffled.
That's pretty involved.
That's why we're worried.
Yeah.
I
I
was
mean,
trying to hit the deadline. It's
I
like,
can go
oh,
through it, but let's see. So we have 89. Let me verify what we're working on here. P6. Let me just take a quick look at what I have for P6. Let me because
yeah, because like P.6 has been like torture for me. Like I have
yeah,
not gotten.
I
It's been
haven't
a
got
really tough
anything
unit.
right.
yeah. Let me take a look at
So
I've
I'm just
also
trying.
been struggling
I'm trying to
with
beat the 3 o'clock like deadline. So I'm kind of scared with like 20 minutes left.
P6 89 homework 2. P6. Oh boy. Yeah, I think I need to, let's see. Was I in the process of updating that? Let me take a look at what the other class has here.
Because with everyone else, like since
P,
some people recorded it, like I looked at it as well.
P,
I couldn't tell if you taught that or not during the
yeah,
review.
that looks P6. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to put up a new set of values here. Apparently I didn't update that yet. Let me put up a new set of values for homework week 2. Good catch on that.
So will you give us like extra time to complete P.6 and
Well,
like we have new
I'm
ones?
gonna give you what the real assignment should be here. Let me make this
Okay.
a little more manageable assignment here. Let's make this. Let's go with the following.
So with these homeworks, can we have an extended time on this, seeing as how these are
Sure. Yeah.
really
Yeah.
difficult
That's not
and nobody's understanding any of it?
yeah, that's not a problem. Let me see. P6, 7, 8, 9. P5. Yeah, let's so for P6, let's do 45 through 81. That should be a little better.
I think that's reasonable enough.
Yeah, and P7 is 69 to 1. I've got them out there now. P6 is yeah, that's good.
I'm sorry. So we should be finishing this by tonight, all these new problems and getting them into you, as well as the homework over the weekend and studying for the test. Is that correct?
Cameron and Leah are going to be here.
Let me get, send me an email. Let's see here. Give me your question again.
When is the due date for this homework, seeing as how you are changing up the problems we should be doing?
This is Wednesday. Let's just make it due next time.
So Monday, everything will be due.
Monday 3 p.m.
Yeah.
So P5 through P9 is due, or P8 is due Monday, is that correct?
Well, we're going to cover both P8 and P9 today, aren't we?
P9.
I think that's amazing. I think Monday's a good deadline for all that.
That way you'll have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and part of Monday. So you'll have almost 5 days.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you have like a study guide? Should we just be going over the problems that we already have? What do you suggest to
You mean for the
study?
test? For the
Correct.
test, the best thing to do for the test is just make sure you get through the homework problems. If you understand the homework problems, you'll understand the test.
Okay.
Can you make like a list of like what topics like the test will cover? Because I think that would be helpful. Like what should we study? Like just
Well,
a list.
the list would be the assignments that we've covered. For instance, P5 talks about factoring polynomials. P4 talks about, it's just covering the sections we covered in the book. P4 is polynomials. P3 is radicals and rational exponents. P2 is exponents in scientific notation and so forth. So the section heading, P1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so forth, those are the sections that we cover. You can see those. There's no need for me to duplicate what's already in the book.
Is there one particular like section that will be mostly common in the test or no?
Well, we're gonna cover P1 through P9, and we want to weigh everything as evenly as we can because we need all that material.
You put the new updated homework questions we're supposed to be doing on the assignments page, or is that correct?
Yes, I've got 6, 7, 8, 9. We didn't have an issue with 5, did we, or did we? I can put 5 back out there. I just put 6, 7, 8, 9 to make sure that we showed what was going on there. Mainly 8, 9. So 8 was 21 to 57, and 9 was 45 to 81. Those 10 problems.
So we do not need to be going over
P5 out there.
P.680, not number 89 then.
45 to 81.
Professor, I have a question.
Yes, go
So
ahead.
for the P6, I've done all the problems.
Yes.
So I just leave it there then?
Yeah. I wouldn't ask you to redo anything. I'm just saying that for P6, the only ones we really need to do is up through 81. If you've done more than that, then that's fine. I'm not asking anybody to redo anything.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. All right, other questions?
Yeah, can we go over I think it's P693C.
P693.
We're not doing that for the homework anymore, just so you know, Bogdan.
That's
I
true.
already it's just the one question I haven't done.
All right, let's see here. What does is that the one that has
You basically make your own solution to the questions you answer in like 93A and B.
693, what does it say? Oh, okay. And you said 93 what? A, B, or what part what are you
C.
talking about? What was
C.
it? C?
Yeah.
Write a simplified rational expression that describes the ratio of the number of calories. So that says we're going to have calories per day in age group by men. So this is what, women over men, and we're taking it out of the, let's see, right, some ratio of number of calories needed per day by women. So this calories, women in the age group X, okay, in the age group, and so you got an age group X divided by number in the same age group. So if you look at the picture there, calories for women, which ones are the women? Red, right?
Right. I just
So-
have to open the book.
So for, let's just take a group, let's say age 14 to 18.
Okay.
If I take age 14 to 18 and I want calories per day per women, and women are in red, that's 2,000 for the women. And for the men is 2,600. That's the men. So if I put a ratio together of calories with, let's see, it said, oh yeah, moderate, that's from the same thing. Okay. So we'd have 2,000 over 2,600. Is that what you get for age 14 to 18?
I'm trying to get to the question really quickly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry, my computer's being a little slow.
No problem.
Professor, it's not
Yeah.
asking for just the calorie amounts. It's asking for a rational expression to describe how to get there.
All right.
So-
So then we're going to want the equation, aren't we? So what equation did you come up with for women? Women equals, that was negative 66x squared. Is that what that one?
It should be that one, yes.
Plus 526x plus 1030 over the men. And the men was given to you as negative 120x squared. Okay, plus 998. You're looking at the right one. Plus 590.
Yeah, that's the right equation.
Okay. So we've got a ratio then, don't we? We've got a ratio of that over that. Now, if they're asking us to simplify, are we able to simplify that? Well, we could divide by 2, couldn't we? We got even numbers here. Looks like we could divide numerator denominator by 2. And what would that give us? Well, let's see, negative 33 plus 526 over 2 plus 1030 over 2. That's the women, and the men divide 120, we get negative 60 x squared plus 500, 499 x plus 590, that's 250, 295 for the men. So if we put those two equations over each other, women over men, and we put the equations and simplify, we should get something that looks like this, shouldn't we? Negative
Okay.
33, that's a square. And that's a square. So negative 33x squared plus 263x plus 515 over negative 60x squared plus 499x plus 295. It looks like
Okay.
will look like, and is that what you have? Is that the answer you're looking for?
Yeah, I must have misunderstood it a little because I was thinking I had to make my own solution, like the equations above, like B and A.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
So it's
so
it's a little easier than you thought.
yeah, just a little maybe.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay, we still have a few minutes before we start at 3. Any other questions that we should cover?
Can you do number 77 for P6, please?
All right, if there are none, I'm going to put that there. One thing I did want to point out is you'll need a webcam for the test. Make sure you do have a webcam, okay? And I'll put that in here to make sure as a reminder. All right, so I'm going to take then a 9-minute break, and I'll see you at 3 o'clock.
Could you do number 77 on P6, or should we wait until after class to do more questions?
Well, we've got, what, 6 minutes? If you want to ask questions, you certainly may.
I feel like the explanation for this problem is going to go over 6 minutes, and I don't want to eat into other class time.
Okay, which problem are we talking about? And that way I can get ready for it.
P6, number 77.
77?
Correct.
P6 77. Let me see what that looks like. P6 70. Oh, that's the 1 over H deal. I don't think that'll take more than 6 minutes. Let's just see here. Well, unless it doesn't match in the book, but let's just see here. So that's 1 over root X plus H. Is that the right one?
I believe so. Yes.
Is that the right
Minus
one?
1 over square root x
plus h minus 1 over root x over h. Is that the problem?
correct.
Okay. So what do we want to do here in the numerator?
Common denominator.
All right. What's that going to be? Or how would we get it?
Multiply that by square root x plus h and the other side by square root x.
Is that a question?
That was my uncertainty. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So now we have root x, x plus h, root x plus h, all over h. So in the numerator, our denominator for the numerator is going to be root x times root x plus h. And above that, we're going to have root x minus root x plus h. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's all over h, isn't it? It's all over this h here, right?
That's what I have so far.
Okay, all right, good. So let's do two things. One, we'll rewrite the numerator, and that's going to be root x minus x plus h. And I'm just going to, if I move this guy under this radical, what am I going to get?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Yeah, I had a root x out here and a root x plus h. If I move this root x plus h under the radical, what am I
You'll
going to
get
have?
x squared. So you can simplify that to x square root h over h. Is that correct?
So we'll have, if I do that multiply, let's see, where am I here? Got myself turned around here. Let's see, root x minus this. What did I do here? Let's get rid of that. So let's see, we went from here to here and we said common denominator is this thing and this over this is that. Yeah, that all looks good. So that's root x minus root x plus h over this thing. Now I want to clean up this denominator. That's what I want to do. And this whole thing is going to be over h, but I want to clean up this denominator here, this root x, x plus h. So if I move this inside here, if I move this root inside here, I'm going to end up with x.
X squared.
Okay. And if I have x squared x plus h, then I'll have root. And inside that guy, I'm going to have x times x plus h. Like that. Just move this under here and multiply it by that thing. So in other words, if I multiply by x, I got to multiply by the h as well. So I'm just going to leave the root x outside and just call it x times x plus h. Okay, makes sense. I'm just leaving it there. And that's all over h. So I'm going to stop there until I get everybody in agreement. We all agree this is where we are.
Okay.
Okay. Now I'm going to invert this denominator and multiply. So that becomes 1 over h. So that essentially is my final form. I can rewrite that as h times this, but it's root x minus x root x plus h over h times, or this times h, either way, times root x plus h. And then I have to say, are there any exclusions? And we can't have h equal to what? Can't equal 0, can it? Because we have it in the denominator here. Okay. So our answer is root x minus root x plus h all over h times root x times x plus h, with the exclusion of h can't be 0. Okay, we made it. And it's 3 o'clock. So let's go ahead and start.
Sure.
our